So, good morning, everybody. It's nice having you with this new webinar with GoBright. I was just explaining that to me personally, it's been a long time. I guess it was in the first lockdown with COVID that we've done a lot of webinars. You probably have seen one before or you didn't, but anyway, more than welcome with your first webinar of GoBright. And today we want to show you some of our new features that we have already launched or that we will launch in the near future, and also have a little bit of a discussion on what we see in the marketplace today, because obviously there's a lot changing, and that counts for everybody. And I was just explaining here in the Netherlands this morning, I don't know if you can see it behind me, but it's a very rainy and stormy day today. It's a real autumn day, and that means that the traffic jams are enormous. They're very, very large today. So that causes that a lot of people work from home today. And well, that's one of the major subjects that changed over the past 2 years. And it will have a major impact on office life today, but also in the near future. So what will that mean for us as an industry who is very active in the office business, of course? And some of you are maybe in AV integration or in ICT integration, or maybe you're from the furniture business, and we all come together in offices with our potential customers. So today I'd like to welcome you again with the webinar of GoBright, and to have a little bit of insights on who we are, I'd like to present you to our team. So in the middle or slightly on the right side, you see our CEO. His name is Wiegeraad. And he is taking care of the right side of the company, and that is, for example, our development team. And our development team is divided over the Netherlands and over the northern of Macedonia, because there are very smart people over there who are employed by GoBright, and together they are our development team. And also our support department, which is here in the Netherlands. And obviously you don't see everybody on these pictures, but gives you a little bit of insight on who we are. And on the left side you see me in the upper corner, and underneath there is the sales and marketing team. So we are going out daily in the marketplace to find our distributors, our resellers, and also our customers. Today we are with 26 people, and we're expanding rapidly, because the interest in the market is so big at the moment for products like we do, that everybody seems to accept these days that the office must be smarter. So smart workplace solutions is something which is growing very hard, and from my perspective it will also be a generic solution for the future. So if you start a new office, then you're not only looking for a copying machine, a printer, a coffee machine, and some furniture, but you also need a reservation tool to make sure that you can work effectively together. So it will be a commodity good, and that means that every office everywhere in the world, which is a little bit larger than 50 people, just to say so, will need some of the smart workplace solutions. And to you as a listener today is very interesting, because you probably have a lot of customers who are asking for these kinds of solutions. And if we dig a little deeper into that, then obviously everybody knows that the marketplace has changed dramatically. So we're not going every day to the office today, because there could be many reasons why we don't. The last 2 years we get accustomed to working from home, for example. We now have the technology to do that. Everybody is equipped with a laptop, for example, a small camera, a headset like mine today. So you have actually a free choice of where to work. And in the first place, that seems quite handy. But when we're doing that now for 2 years, it also seems that we have a little bit of problems there. And in this slide, we just raised some questions. So a lot of questions are also from the employee side, for example. Who will come to the office today? Who can I meet? If I come to the office, will I have a desk to work at? Or can I have a meeting room where I can meet with my customer or my project team or whatsoever? How do I know where everybody is? How can I scale technology, for example? And then we slide it differently also to the employer, because they have questions too. How many meeting rooms do I need? What will be the occupancy rate of people coming to the office. And what we have heard over the last, I guess, 8 months, when we do a lot of demos everywhere in the world, is that the average which people think they see is that they see 20 to 30% of their staff coming back to the office. So that raises the question, what will be the purpose of my office then for the near future? How will my office look like? How many office space do I need? So all these questions has to be answered. And there are also 2 steps in that, because how do you get the answers? And if you have the answers, how do you adapt to it? And then the third question is, if you adapted to it, how do you measure it, so that you know that you make the right adjustments, the right decisions, and that you know for the long run that the working concept that you've chosen will be the right one. And you probably have to adapt it too. So what we also see in this particular moment is that all kinds of new job titles are arising. So where we in the past normally would talk probably to a facility manager or an IT manager, all of a sudden there's a workplace advisor, or a smart workplace specialist, or a chief hybrid office working officer. All kinds of new functionaries are coming to life today. And the third one is also that we now meet quite frequently real estate managers and also HR managers, because what we see is that as soon as employees start thinking, hey, am I still connected to the company? Probably this will be a good time for me to switch. That's a major problem. So what we also see is that mainly all CEOs are working very closely with HR in their own company to make sure that they have quite enough staff, and that if staff is in, that they keep them healthy, and if they are healthy, that they keep them for the long run. And that's a big thing today. And one of the tools that these organizations uses are smart office solutions to provide to their employees a tool so which they can plan their days, not only today but also in the days ahead, and they can also collaborate with one another. And that part of collaboration will be at the end of the webinar when we show a little bit of our roadmap. So let's dig a little deeper into the employee, for example, because if you are an employee today, what kind of questions do you have? Well, for example, where is my office today? Does it mean that I have to go by public transportation or by car to the office which I was used to go to? Just to say so, let's say the headquarters or a local office. Or is my office today maybe my home, the kitchen or a study or whatever you have at your home? Or can I work and have holiday at the same time? I don't know how your holiday was this summer, but I'm frequently a camper myself. I like to go to campsites. And what I saw this year on the campsite when I go to the bakery for my bread in the morning is that a lot of people were behind their laptops with a headset on. So I thought to myself, hey, probably these people are combining a little bit of work with their holidays because they like it that way. It could also be that you're on your way, maybe in a plane or in the car, or you went out to a customer. And when you're at that customer, you also stay an hour longer to have an online meeting, for example, afterwards. So for an employee, it's quite important that you have your freedom, that you can be productive wherever you are on your own way at your own time. And to do that, you need tools for that. And we think that we as GoBright will give you tools to give you insights in wherever your office is today, as long as you have your laptop or your mobile phone. So we will dig deeper into that too. And the other one, of course, is the employer. So what do all these changes in the marketplace mean to me? So how can I meet my people? Where are they actually? How do I get them connected to one another? How do we make sure that we have enough workspaces during an average week? Do we have enough meeting rooms? And what do we need in those meeting rooms to equip them to make sure that we can connect not only with people who are inside the office, but also people who are dialing in from a distance? And again, what I said, how do I get an overview of it? So if my office becomes smarter, can I also measure it? Can I get data to make it a data-driven office so that it's not only a momentum today that we can make decisions, but also can monitor our decisions and make sure that we apply to it and adapt to it in the near future. So we like to show you some of our strengths as GoBright, how we develop our program to give answers to the questions of either on the left side the employee and on the right side the employer. So the future of work, how do we look at it? Well, what you can see on the left side is that what we've done the last few months is that we made an integration with Microsoft Teams. Some of you probably know us already, and the room booking solution which we started with was already integrated with Microsoft Outlook, because we integrate with the rooms which are used and also are invitable from Microsoft Outlook. But now in the marketplace, everybody have seen that Microsoft Teams is becoming very big, of course, because it's not only planning but also collaborating. And today I can proudly announce to you all that we made a very nice Microsoft Teams integration, and that, I don't know if you can see the picture very well, but we will have some pictures further on, is that we have a nice button just in Microsoft Teams which you can tap on, and then a total platform will open up within Microsoft Teams, and not only online but also on your mobile phone. So that gives your employees a full ability to have all the GoBright solutions just under your thumb, even in the Microsoft Teams app on your mobile phone or in a Microsoft Teams app on your laptop. And the nice thing of that is, in the morning, if you just open your laptop, you actually look into the office, because you see a map of your favorite office floor. You can scroll to all the office floors, of course, and see actually who is there, what is available, if it's busy. And if you don't have your laptop with you, you can also do it on your mobile phone. And this is a fully integrated Microsoft Teams integration, and it's also certified. And that's why if you log on to either online or on your mobile phone, that you go to apps and you will find the GoBright apps as a certified app, and you can just install it. You don't need your administrator for it. You can do it as a local user. And then you have all the abilities of GoBright just under your thumb. And that gives the employee the ability to arrange its own day. So you can plan your meetings, you can add a meeting room, you can even add catering to it. You can pre-register your visitors, so that when they come into the office, they only have to scan the QR code which they have received at the visitor kiosk, and then you will be notified that your visitors are downstairs. You can book parking spaces, you can put in license plates, so for the recognition, you can book the locker. So everything that we have available in the GoBright portal is now also available for Microsoft Teams. So, like we used to say in our vision, is that we want to be the number one user-friendly booking platform. I think we show that by doing it this way in Microsoft Teams. On the other hand, if we do this, and let's say you have 500 employees who are booking every day their needs and their assets, then that assembles a lot of data, because you can see the behavior of people by their bookings. One of the things you can also see is the no-shows. So who booked and who came or who didn't came. What are the favorite spots in the office? Is it the first floor, the second floor, the third floor? So there are many questions which you can answer with the data. So what we do on the side for the employers, for example, is that we made an extension to Microsoft Power BI. Some of you who already know our tools know that we have analysis in our tools, so that you can make some kinds of reports on occupancy rates, on no-shows, and all kinds of data, bookings. But what we've heard over the years is that a lot of organizations want to make their own reports. They want to have their own designs. They want to combine the data, for example, with data from other platforms. And instead of going to all these platforms to get their data from, they want to extract it to one data house and make their own reports from it. So we comply to that, and now via our API you're able to extract all the data to Power BI and make your own reports. And the other great thing from that is that you can also build your own dashboards with it, so that you can also show them in our GoBright view, that is the digital signage. So for example, if you have a lot of sensors everywhere in your building, like for the desks and for the rooms, you can also show in your dashboard on every floor, or maybe in the reception area, to guide people through the building. Hey, don't go to the 5th because it's fully booked. Don't go to the 3rd because it's very crowded there. But if you want to look for a free space, go to the 2nd because that's quite nice, handy. So you'll see that by developing our tools, we're also not always looking for only a user perspective, but also from the employer's perspective. And how do we combine those two to make sure that both can benefit from our smart workplace solutions? Both of these tools, by the way, are live today. So it's not that you have to wait for it. You can demonstrate this to your future customers when you are in this webinar and looking for these kinds of solutions. They're today available, so you can ask for it. And we're more than happy to demonstrate those to you. So here you see a bit of a bigger overview. Here is the GoBright button. It's very user-friendly. It works exactly the same in Teams as then when you go online to the GoBright portal, and it has the total same user interface also on the mobile phone. When you go to your mobile phone, your thumb is your cursor, so you can just hover over the desks and see who is where. You can find your colleagues, you can book a desk, you can book a meeting room, you can invite your colleagues or maybe people from outside. It's all available within Microsoft Teams, mobile and online. And we're very proud to have this because it's fully certified and it's very, very user-friendly. So yeah, we will continue by developing our products also based on Microsoft, because we see that although Microsoft is also adding some of our functionality to their own program, is that they're still partner-based and they still want to join up with companies like GoBright to make it a full, logical and workable program. And here you just see one template. This is for the employer. So if you have a customer who says, hey, I want to make my reports in Power BI, then we do have some templates for that available. So what we see is that mainly customers who are using this tool are starting with our templates, and then later on they can customize those by themselves if they have the ability to make their own Power BI reports. And of course you can also combine with other data resources. For example, we all know that in the Paris Agreement, all buildings have to be CO2 neutral in 2050. And that means that today and until 2050, a lot of buildings are refurbished. So to make sure that your building is CO2 friendly, you need to measure that. And if you measure that, you need a building management system with, for example, all kinds of sensors who can measure CO2, temperature, and the moist and the humidity, of course, in the office, and all kinds of stuff. And these sensors also collect a lot of data. So what we see is that a lot of facility managers or real estate managers want to combine that in one solution. And with our Power BI connector, that's possible. So you can combine all these data from all these different sensors in one report. What also occurs is that if you already have sensors in your building, that via our API, we can use those sensors probably also for meeting rooms and also for desks sometimes. So it's for GoBright not only deliver very well equipped new software solutions, but also be able to adapt to the current infrastructure of the customer. Because if we can adapt to the current infrastructure to integrate with the current desks, with the current lockers, with the current sensors, then you don't have to make any extra investments besides the software you need from GoBright. And we see that a lot of organizations are very fond of that, of course. So what else did we launched the last time? Well, we also now have integrated parking booking. So if you go to our GoBright portal or on your mobile app, you can search for a room, search for a desk, but also search for a parking space and search for your colleague. And on the same mapping tool, you can just book your parking space. You can even choose for the ability, if you have an electric car, to charge your car by searching for a parking spot with a charger, for example. This is already available from GoBright today. And some of the features who are still in development, one of them, for example, is digital signage on Android. For the ones who use our digital signage today or sell our digital signage today, we all know that it's connected to WebOS from LG. And at the end of this year, it will also be compatible with Android. So that means that it's much more easy to integrate with hardware from, for example, Philips, Sony, and all kinds of other vendors who are using Android for their devices. So in that case, you don't need a player, an extended player, but you can connect the PoE cable directly to the screen and use our software licenses for digital signage directly also in Android screens. Sorry. So that will be a great boost for everybody who's in the reselling channel to work with the GoBright software licenses, because it's much more easy to integrate in the current infrastructure of the customer, like I just explained. This is a good example. And one of the other things that we will develop in Q1 next year is zone booking. And why is zone booking so important? For the people who already work with booking solutions for a long time, they know how easy it is to book a desk. But the other thing is, how do you find your desk? So when you come into a big office, how come will I find my desk as quick as possible? Because I don't want to lose a lot of time. What we also experienced is that people who are on their way to find their desk, they encounter sometimes desks who are available and are not occupied. For example, this chair next to me, you see the green light there. That means, hey, it's available. So why bother looking for the desk that I've booked? I just take that desk, I tap in, and I go to work. That's what behavior of people shows. And that's okay, because you can start doing your work. But in your analysis, it will make sure that that desk that you just tapped in is occupied, and the other desk that you booked is a no-show. So we actually don't want that. And zone booking makes it possible to say, for example, hey, I'm a marketeer. I just go to my department marketing, book. And then you come up to the marketing floor, you just take any desk you like which is available, you tap in, and then your reservation is attached to that particular desk. So that means that for you as a user, it's not applicable which desk you take. You just made a reservation for a desk, and in the background, in the data, your presence is connected to the right desk. So that makes desk booking even more convenient for the user, because it's very easy to book. You go to your department and you say book a desk, and when you come into the building, you don't have to search for that particular desk that you booked. So it's much more easy, and you can start much more quicker do your work. And on the back end for the employer, you have less no-shows and much more clear data. So we're very happy with that feature coming up. And then another thing which we're very proud to already give you a sneak preview. And before we continue with that, I have to make sure to tell to you that it's really a sneak preview. So all the things that I will show you in the next 5 minutes are not a guarantee that they will look like that exactly. And it's not a guarantee that we will have all the features in, because we're also depending, of course, on Microsoft Teams and Outlook. But I think that 80-90% of what I will show you right now will be in Q1 and will be very important for our market and also for the collaboration. Because one of the things that we started this presentation and this webinar with was, okay, I am an employee, I am at home, and via the GoBright tools and via Microsoft Teams, I have total access and total availability of everything in the office. But how do I connect with my colleagues, for example? So let me show you some of the collaboration tools that we are developing currently and will be available and released at the end of Q1 next year, but which you are already free to talk about to your potential customers, because we receive a lot of questions about the tools that I'm about to show you. So let's start with the sneak preview. If you go to our portal, then you can see on the left side your personal dashboard. And that means, and by the way, this could also be in Microsoft Teams, of course. So it's either a portal or in Microsoft Teams. You will see on the left side your personal dashboard. And your personal dashboard shows you the assets that you booked for that particular day. So probably between 9 and 10 a desk, from 10 to 11 a meeting room, then again a desk, etc., etc., etc. But what we will add is that you also have now your colleague locator. So not only find my colleague on today's map and then hover over the desk and see who's where, but also have the pictures of my colleagues there. So when I log on this morning, I could actually immediately see who is there in the office. And if I switch here from home office to home office, I can also see who will be not in the office and who is working from home, for example. So if you see this, you probably feel the same as I do, that you get connected to the faces of people that you recognize every day. So when you log on in the morning, you will see who will be in the office, and it's up to you to choose if you go back to the office today too, because you can meet with your colleagues, you can see them, you can share a coffee, you can talk about your holidays, whatever. And that will be a great step forward in collaboration and connecting to your colleagues from the social aspect. Then the next one is, if you open up, sorry, I will go one step back. I just forgot to tell. If I go to this section and I open up this section, then I come in the next one and I get an overview of the different offices. And that's important these days because a lot of organizations have multiple offices. So where is everybody? Are you in the headquarters? Are you in the regional office? Are you maybe in an office in another country? That could also be possible. But you could also be at your home office, for example, or at a fair. Or maybe you are visiting a customer today and you spend some time there because you get access to a meeting room at your customer. And here is a selector in these bars that you can tap in for yourself to say, this is where I am located today. And in that situation, people can always find you or know where you are and can connect then with the possibilities they have to connect you at the location that you are. So it's not only looking who is at the office, but also who is where. That's the next level that we will have built in these kinds of tools. And then the third one is the weekly overview. So if I have multiple offices, I can also have multiple days, of course. And that means that the blue bar shows the occupancy status of today, who is in today, who is where and in what office. But the next steps is, hey, how does the week look like? So who will be in on Tuesday? Who will be in on Wednesday? Etc., etc., etc. And if I want to collaborate with my favorite colleagues, I can see if they already booked a desk or a meeting room and know up front for the next week if they are in or not. And that can also influence my day to decide when and what particular day I will go to the office. And as you see on the down part of the screen is that I have some larger pictures of my team. That means that I can quite easy connect to them to make sure that we have a chat or that we can have a call on how to elaborate with one another. And that's actually what we show here. So if I tap on the photo of one of my colleagues, a box will open up with all the contact details. How can I contact? Can I call you? Can I make a Teams call with you? Can I send you WhatsApp or an email? So it's very easy to get in touch with your colleagues very quickly. And if Microsoft allows us to, and Teams then will probably also make a button here that if I go to and I touch the camera, that we can set up a live meeting via Microsoft Teams directly, because we obviously are working in Microsoft Teams at this moment. I look for you, I want to contact you, I just push the button. But as said, this is a feature which we have to find out if Microsoft is allowing us to do that and if it's technically possible. So these are just thoughts, sneak previews of what we will show and what we will build in Q1. And the last thing is that you can much more easily find your colleagues, because if I see here my colleagues who will be at the office today, I also want to know where they are in the office. And again, also in Microsoft Teams, I can just hover over the desks and find out where the people are. So I will also have the mapping available together with the picture of the people. And we think that, by having these tools, we have an excellent way of integration, but also in collaboration. These tools will suit not only the employee, but also the employer. And we believe if they are both happy and satisfied, that will contribute to the culture of the company. That will contribute to people having a great time at the office. that will contribute to satisfied employers who say, yes, we have made the right decisions on the right number of desks and meeting rooms, and by having these dashboards, we can make the future of work again in our offices, and that will give us all satisfied customers. And by meeting those customers, maybe every quarter, we can also stay connected with them and stay in a position to develop all kinds of new features also the coming year. So that's about the content that I'd like to share with you during this webinar. And I can imagine that there will be some questions. So I will look to my team who's doing the moderating and ask them if there are some questions which I can answer probably during this webinar. So feel free to ask your questions. So if your question is where can we start the best? Well, what I've experienced the past 2 years, of the past 2 months, is that when I show something about our Teams integration at the start of the demo, is that the customer says, yeah, this is what we're looking for. So where we normally go in detail about how you book a desk and how you book a room, it's now much more that people already know that and they believe that, but they are very, very interested into the Teams integration. So I would suggest to you that if you talk to potential customers, that you start with our Teams integration. And as you've seen during this webinar, our marketing department already created all kinds of tools for that, all kinds of content. So we love to share that with you. If you go to our content community on the GoBright website, you can get access to by just filling out your credentials. There will be presentations available in PowerPoint. There will be PDFs available. So you can share either the sneak preview, but also the presentation of the current live Teams integration with your potential customers, and just talk about these tools with them, just like I did today with you. You don't have to go in very much detail, because what I experience is that customers understand how it's working as long as it's connected and integrated with the Microsoft tools. So in that case, I would suggest that you start there, reach out to us for having these tools, and we will provide them to you so you can talk to your potential customers. And then there's a next question. Is it a tenant installation like I guess? The thing is, well, like I explained, if you're talking about the Microsoft Teams integration here, you can install that yourself as a user. So, but it can also be installed directly from the administrator side. So if they decide, okay, we have Microsoft Teams, we also have GoBright solutions, then they can install the integration from the administrator side, so that every user has it already in his tools. So that's a possibility. Yes, both ways. And then another question coming in. It is planned to add the possibility to add Teams when booking a room in GoBright. Let me see. Is it planned to add the possibility to add Teams meeting when booking a room in GoBright? Yes. If you today book a team via the GoBright portal, a meeting room, there is also the ability to activate a Microsoft Teams link. So that means that if you say, hey, I look for a room, I add my catering, I add everything I need. Oh, there's also a button, make it also an online meeting, so that in my Microsoft Teams and in my Microsoft Outlook, also the link occurs to join from a distance. So yeah, that's also available today. And if you want to know more about that, there's also an article of that on our website. So you can go to www.gobright.com. There's on our website, by the way, now an excellent search bar. I don't know if you've seen that, but on the top of the screen, there's a search bar. Just tap in Microsoft Teams integration, and you will find also an article on the Microsoft Teams link into your meeting room invite. And then another great question, is there any downside of this great system? Yes, there is. Because we are in human business, as you know, and humans make mistakes. So we do too. But before you experience that, you first have to work with it, of course. And what I see as a well, you can call it a downside, but a more difficult thing is that sometimes people think that our systems are very difficult, that they are too ingenious, and that's because it can do so much. And if you want to do a demo and tell everything about GoBright, it could be very overwhelming to your listeners. So my advice would be keep it simple. Try to find out what is the most important thing for your customers to have today. And that links back a little to where do we start. Today I only start with the Teams integration. And then in the first meeting you have, they are so enthusiastic and satisfied that you can find out actually what the customer actually needs and try to focus on that particular part of the GoBright platform that the customer needs at this moment. Because to me, it's more important to get in business with the customer today on their specific needs than sell them everybody we have. Because we have a multiple year lifetime with each other, which we can sell everything we have to the customer. But first make sure that we get a customer and supplier relationship. So that would be my suggestion. And then another question is coming up. Is the Power BI connector a paying option? Yes. You will find our API on the price list. That means if you once pay a subscription to our API, you can have all availability of all API possibilities. So not only the Power BI connection, but also connection to third-party sensors and all kinds of other solutions. So if you want to know more about that, you can make an appointment with our product manager, Willem de Teuling, and he's more than happy to explain you everything about all the possibilities of our API connector. And another question is, will we also add sensors for parking, or maybe direct partners to certified vendors of suitable occupancy sensors for parking? Well, we're not currently there yet. I don't say that we will not do that in the future, but it's not on our daily business today to connect to parking space sensors. We know there are several ones available in the marketplace. They become also much cheaper these days. And because of our API, we are able to connect to third-party sensors. So if you have questions about this and you find out that you really want to sell a parking space sensor, just reach out to our product manager and we can find out if they can be connected via our API so that we can check the data which comes from these particular sensors. Then another question, will it be a priority list available in area booking? I mean, first an area, only when full, then a second area becomes available, and so on. This makes cleaning efficiency in cleaning efficient in big spaces. Well, that's actually a good question. Because of the zone booking, you will probably check your zone first and then go there, because that's the place where you probably meet your nearest colleagues. It's not that we use already algorithms to guide you through the building up front. I can imagine that there will be a next step. But as we grow with the business, also these kinds of functionality will be there. The reason why we don't do that yet is that it's always up to the customer what's their customer case? How do they want to have that installed, and how do they want to have priority levels on that? So it's something which is very interesting in investigating, but we're not have that on our roadmap yet to build those functionalities. So I see that we're already 45 minutes on the way. So I like to maybe ask the moderator, can we have a last question? And then agree with everybody that all questions which are asked in the chat, that we will assemble those and that we will answer those after the webinar by addressing those answers to everybody who was in the webinar actually. So I just asked Bianca, is there a last question? Okay, there is a question not about Microsoft Teams, but about Google. Is there already a release date for the Google Calendar edition? I just do this from my head, but I think it is for period 1 in the next year. So we will have a perfect Google Calendar add-on, like the plugin we today have for Microsoft Office. That's a major step forward. And the reason for that is that we sell our products more and more these days also in the US and in Canada. And in that part of the world, Google Calendar is much more used than much more used than here in Europe. So we will have a very nice Google integration plugin, and that will be available very quickly in the first year. Okay, I see that most of all the watchers who started the webinar are still there. So thank you very much for being here. It was very nice to explain to you what we do and what we're today and what we're planning to do in the coming months. We like to see you, we like to talk to you, we like to meet you again. If it's into your possibilities, please meet us at ISE in Barcelona the first week of February. We will be there in Hall 2 with a nice big stand. We will have some more new features there also on the hardware side to show you. So please stay in touch with us. If you need anything, just reach out to us, and we're more than happy to get in touch with you to talk further on what you've seen today. I wish you all the best. Have a great time and Christmas time with your family. Stay safe and see you soon. Cheers. Bye bye.